This will be a very unusual video from me, but I've been struggling with my health for years and I know that I'm not alone. And even if I have just one person, I'm already happy. And I've also heard a few times, if you are afraid to share something or you don't want to share something, just do it, don't overthink it. So I'm doing it. I want to add a little disclaimer here. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor. I just educate myself about health from podcasts and books and articles. And if you feel that something's not alright with you, consult a healthcare professional before start to take random supplements. And if you still feel that your symptoms are unheard, consult another professional, because I've heard like crazy stories, especially if you're a woman. Good morning. I'll go to a blood test now, so I thought I'll share some information about my health journey, my health situation, because it's quite complicated and I wish to know sooner how to listen to my body, and I should have taken that first comprehensive blood test much sooner, much sooner. When you really listen to your body and you notice something strange happening, which might seem normal, it might not be normal. So just listen to your body and go for the blood test. Where should I start? Okay. I think I'll start with that in all my life, I had struggled to lose weight, and I get weight very easily. I also like to eat sweet, salty, whatever, doesn't matter. And I was doing workouts, but I wasn't like consistent. I was doing something for 6 months, then I stopped, then another year, then I stopped. And I think around 3-4 years ago, when we lived in Brazil, it's like the food is so good there. So we were just eating, and I was gaining weight, obviously. And then I was like, okay, this has to stop. And then I started to educate myself about health, how to eat, what to eat, blah, blah. And then I tried out a lot of things. I think that was the starting point when I started to be very consistent with my workouts. And I tried like different things. I was eating more fiber, cutting out more sugar. I also tried fasting for a long time, and actually I started to lose weight and I started to feel better, but my life is also very stressful. So basically now my main concern is that I'm constantly bloated, but not only before my period, constantly. So it's like I look like I have like a bump. And I don't know when I realized this for the first time, maybe when I was doing the workouts and I started to lose weight, but that belly area and the belly fat just didn't want to remove. And I was like, what's happening? And I also had like other symptoms which I thought are normal, but not. So for example, if your hair is falling out, that's not normal. Or if you have brittle nails, that's also not normal. I have that like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. So that's also not normal. Irregular periods, not normal. Whew. Yeah, constant bloating, definitely not normal. And there are many other symptoms. For example, belly fat or hair growth at unusual places, dry skin, fatigue, brain fog. I'll add a few more symptoms here, like irregular period, heavy or painful periods. If you feel tired or weak, even after a good night's sleep, you're too sensitive to cold or heat. And if you have mood swings, you weight gain or struggling to lose weight, you have acne, constipation or diarrhea. So just listen to your body, read about it online, and if you don't feel you're having a normal symptom, just go for a blood test. And after a while, for example, I realized that I think around 10 years ago, I went for a basic blood test, I think, and I wanted to renew my driving license back in Hungary. I went to my GP, and she noticed that my TSH, the thyroid hormone, is a bit high. It was like at the borderline, but I was still in the green zone. So she said, don't worry, you're still in the good zone, so that's fine. I was like, okay, if a GP, a doctor said to not worry, then it should be fine. It's normal. But later I found out that if you're at the borderline, that's not normal because it should be much lower. I think it was around 4, but it should be around 1, the TSH, the main thyroid hormone. And I started to look more into my health, and I was like completely bloated. I didn't know what to do. I was listening to podcasts, books, whatever. And then I went for a comprehensive test back in Budapest. That was like, yeah, that was a bit more than a year ago. And this was like, they did a stool test, urine sample, blood test. So after that, I figured out that I have high TSH, the thyroid hormone, and I also have insulin resistance. Yeah, and more vitamin deficiencies. So after that, I started to consult a nutritionist from Hungary, and I had to cut out added sugar, gluten, dairy. And because I was bloated, I also cut out like beans, legumes, things like that, because they cause bloating. And also started to take supplements for my vitamin deficiencies. So actually I started to feel a bit better, but my bloating didn't disappear even after 6 months. And then she just gave me ideas what to do. I did them, but she didn't recommend any other things. She sent me to a food intolerance test. A lot of things were like red and orange zone, so I wouldn't been able to eat many things. So I only cut out more food from the red zone. And after that, I felt like stuck with her. So then I found another consultant here in Ireland. She's a naturopath and a herbalist. And now I think I'm on the right path because we're making progress. And for example, in the meantime, my thyroid hormone came a bit down, but it's still higher than it's supposed to be. Yeah, and she also said to not cut out everything. So for example, now I eat 80% gluten-free, dairy-free, and sugar-free, and 20% I eat whatever I want, but I'm also careful because sometimes my body gets sensitive. And in the meantime, my thyroid level went a bit down, but it's still borderline category. My insulin resistance is okay, so I'm paying attention to eat a savory breakfast, eat desserts or sweet food only after the meal and things like that. So for example, if you want to look at blood sugar levels, make sure to check out, but you might know her, the glucose goddess. She has very good tips on this. And in the meantime, I was also diagnosed with like borderline PCOS. So it's not that serious, but yeah. So it's like everything is connected in your body. So that's why you really have to pay attention. I'm really consistent now with my workouts. I do strength training, maybe 2-3 times a week, and also do Pilates. And I pay a lot of attention on how much protein I eat, especially for breakfast. And I try to sleep more and reduce stress, because my naturopath said that all these symptoms might be affected also by stress, because I quit my secure job in Hungary, I moved to Brazil, then back to Hungary for a bit, then came to Ireland, and I didn't have a job, so it was my last few years, it was like kind of stressful. So it can be also because of that. So now I also try to be more mindful, meditate, do tapping meditation, sometimes journal, do more yoga, things like that. And I'm also reading more about how to manage stress or listening to more podcasts. So that's also very crucial. And other things I'm doing for my health are I don't drink coffee on empty stomach, and I also don't drink coffee and other caffeinated drink in the first 90 minutes after waking up. I change my afternoon coffee for matcha. I hydrate well. I cook my own food and don't eat much processed food. I don't fast anymore, only like 12 hours during the night. And I also don't do fasted workouts anymore, because I've heard before that if you do fasted workouts, you burn more body fat, but this research was made on men and it's not true for women. And I will also leave a few podcast episodes in the description so you can listen to them. And yeah, don't do fasted workout. I'm also guilty about that. Yeah, to reduce stress, I also schedule like rest days for myself because sometimes I forget to rest, and I schedule these days especially before my period in my luteal phase. And I also don't try to overdo things and don't schedule like a lot of things for myself. I give time to rest and just relax. Yeah, and some symptoms became much better or even disappeared, but I'm still bloated. So, for example, last month I did an at-home SIBO test and GI map test, which is basically a stool test. So I'm still waiting for those results, and now I'll go for a blood test, like a comprehensive blood test to check all the thyroid hormones, other female hormones, vitamins, and things like that. So I think now I have to go, so I'll finish this somewhere else. I'll share a few of my favorite books in the description, and also some favorite podcasts like Diary of the CEO, Mel Robbins podcast, the Biohacking Bestie with Egilal, or The Genius Life by Max Lugavere, or Pursuit of Wellness with Marie Llewellyn, and Wellness Survey with Gracie Norton. And if I remember something else, I will put it in the description. So make sure to educate yourself. And if you don't feel well, even if you think your symptoms are normal, just consult a professional and yeah, listen to your body. And thanks for watching, and like and subscribe. I don't know if I should say this at the end of an episode like that, but whatever. So thank you for watching and listen to your body.